So here we go with 6 rounds lightweights. Rick Ortega versus Richard Fowler, both from Albuquerque. And let's go up to ring announcer Mike Adams.
7 bout card brought to you by Frescus Productions, Coors Extra Gold, of course, the Ramada Classic Hotel. This will be a lightweight battle, 6 rounds. The referee in charge, of course, Mr. Neffy, Keith Donna. Judges at ringside, Al Gutierrez, Dan Cisneros, and Mr. London Weiser. Introducing the principals. In the blue corner, he's from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He has a professional record of 15 wins, 15 losses. He's wearing yellow trunks with the black trim. He weighed in at 136.5 pounds. Richard Fowler! In the red corner, he also hails from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He has a professional record of 5 wins, 2 losses, and 2 by knockout. He's wearing the teal trunks. He weighed in at 137.75 pounds. They call him Slick. You know him as Ricky Ortega!
All right, so we're all set for this Albuquerque crosstown clash here. Richard Fowler in the yellow trunks, 15 up and 15 down, but don't let that fool you. He's been in with some top-notch opposition over the years. He's a skilled journeyman veteran. He's fought Meldrick Taylor, and there's a list of names that he's been in the ring with. He was an outstanding amateur boxer who turned professional years ago, and he's been around quite a while. He's the veteran. He's the experienced journeyman fighter in the yellow trunks. His opponent, Rick Ortega, relatively new to the scene. He's 5-2 with 2 wins by knockout. He was a state champion kickboxer turned boxer, and then went over to professional boxing without a whole lot of amateur boxing experience. And he's done well, and he's become a local favorite here in Albuquerque. So expecting big things from Rick Ortega, but he's getting a good test here from the southpaw, Albuquerque's Richard Fowler. We're just underway round 1. You're watching the 8-Count Boxing Hour here on Community Cable Channel 27 in Albuquerque. New Mexico's knockout boxing show, the 8-Count Boxing Hour. Thanks for joining us, everyone, tonight. We appreciate you tuning in, and glad to have you here watching these two Albuquerque favorites, Rick Ortega, Richard Fowler. Rick Ortega trying to move around and get an angle here to shoot back at Richard Fowler. Fowler, the southpaw, moving in behind that jab. Richard Fowler training down at the South San Jose Community Center. Just comes up short there. Looks like both guys just kind of a feeling out round here, see what they got in front of each other. They should be somewhat familiar. I mean, these guys are both from Albuquerque. I don't know if they've sparred together, but right now you see Fowler in the southpaw stance, just trying to get the jab going and maybe get some counters in there. There's Ortega with a straight right hand coming in, caught by Fowler. Fowler answers back now. This one's scheduled for 6. We're in the lightweight division. The referee tonight, the legend of New Mexico boxing, Neffy Quintana. Rick Ortega in the teal-colored trunks. And Ricky Ortega was an outstanding amateur kickboxer who many felt might turn professional, but he went professional as a boxer, and he's done well. He's been involved in some good fights. Winning that opener by knockout against Raul Montes here at this very building. So not a lot of action. Both guys just kind of feeling things out here, seeing what they got in front of them. And now you see Ortega go to the body. Again, Ortega reaching in with the right hand. Fowler trying to time him. And that ends round 1. So a good close opening round. Not a whole lot to choose from. There you see the trainer of Rick Ortega. That's Oriol Chavez. He's been with Ricky since the amateurs. And they work well together, a good team. Rick Ortega, really nice young man, a real nice gentleman that people really respect around the Albuquerque boxing scene. Soft-spoken, all business in the ring though. And Oriol Chavez, of course, one of the top trainers in Albuquerque. So glad you could join us tonight here on the 8-Count Boxing Hour. We'll have some more good bouts coming up for you later in the show, but right now it's Rick Ortega and Richard Fowler in this Albuquerque battle as we get set to start round 2, and there's the bell, round 2 underway. The two come out and touch gloves. There you see Fowler trying to follow that right jab with the big left hand. Both guys kind of a counter-punching style, so you can't expect too much offensively. This may turn out to be more of a boxing match than a slugfest. There you see Fowler now trying to score with jab. Both guys trying to get their jab going. Fowler following things up with that left hand. Now you see Richard Fowler trying to jab and move away, and Rick Ortega crowds him, steps in, and goes to work. Rick Ortega with a record of 5-2. There you see Ortega trying to dig down to that body with the right hand. Fowler goes right back to the jab. Again, you see Ortega just missing with that left hand. There you see Ortega digging to the body, and Fowler comes back with the right hand. And now Ortega lands a couple of body shots. Fowler steps around now. We'll see if Rick Ortega can find an answer to that southpaw style. Gives a lot of fighters problems. Young fighter, only 7 pro fights. We'll see what Ortega can do with it. Richard Fowler, a world of experience, 30 professional fights. And as I said earlier, he's been in with some big name fighters. Now you see Ortega trying to do some feints and then comes back with some body shots. Ortega patiently working behind the jab, trying to slip something in on Richard Fowler. Fowler keeping his hands up high. Good tight defense. And there's a left hand from Fowler. Ricky just kind of smiled at him and nodded yes. Now Rick Ortega answers back. And he kind of knocked Fowler back a few steps. So these guys trading power shots. We're in round 2. This one's scheduled for 6 rounds. Ten seconds to go in this second round. And there you see now Ortega and Ortega has Fowler back on the rope. Fowler's in trouble. He's back in the corner and he's hanging on and he survives the round. Oh, Richard Fowler was in trouble there, but the bell rings and might have saved him. He may have been saved by the bell. He was in a lot of trouble there. It looked like Rick Ortega was ready to jump him. And there you see the corner of Richard Fowler. That was Jake Valencia in his corner. So they're going to try to patch him up and see how he's feeling here between rounds. That was a good ending to that second round for Rick Ortega. Things were just moving along, kind of creeping along, and all of a sudden Ortega caught him and he went in for the finisher, but there just wasn't time as the bell rang. So a good second round for Rick Ortega. And that has to give him a little bit of confidence. Richard Fowler's going to have to watch it. Rick Ortega has some pop. Nice crowd here at the Lujan building tonight. As I look around, looks like about maybe, well, a pretty good crowd. Okay, we're ready to start round 3. This one's set for 6. Round 3 underway. Richard Fowler in the yellow trunks with the black trim. Rick Ortega in the teal color, turquoise colored trunks. Close first round, maybe an edge to Ortega, but not a lot to choose from. Second round, clearly Rick Ortega had with that explosive finish. So Richard Fowler is going to need to get on the offensive bandwagon here. And there you see now Rick Ortega moving in with a body shot. And he has Fowler hurt again. Fowler's falling back against the ropes now. Fowler trying to be slick though. He's making Ortega miss with a little head movement. There's a straight shot that lands to the torso of Fowler. Richard Fowler trying to move side to side, trying to find an angle to slip something in there. But Rick Ortega right on top of him. Ortega not giving Fowler much room to operate. Richard Fowler is the boxer. He's a pure boxer, not a brawler. Rick Ortega a little more versatile. He can box or brawl. He'll go either way with you. And right now you see Ortega moving in. Looks like he's just looking to unload something on Fowler here. Again, it's Rick Ortega. He has Fowler against the ropes and goes to work. Now Fowler comes back with a left hand and he tries to step in. Richard Fowler just has not got his offense going here. It's been Rick Ortega doing all of the offensive work. As you can see him there leaping in with that right hand, keeping Fowler off balance. Fowler has not been able to set and fire. And maybe that's part of the strategy of Ortega here. Keeping Fowler back on his heels, backing up. And there you see Rick Ortega again. He goes to work now, coming in with some body shots. And Fowler slips out and fires back, but it's Ortega keeping the pressure on. Rick Ortega having a nice third round here. Again, Rick Ortega working with both hands, going downstairs and coming back up. And he has Fowler back on his heels. Richard Fowler in a defensive position. Now Fowler has Ortega on the ropes for a change. That hasn't been happening much of this fight. Again, Rick Ortega ripping with some shots. And that ends round 3. So we hit the halfway point of this one, scheduled for 6 rounds. As we look into the corner of Richard Fowler, Jim Johnson and Jake Valencia working his corner. And now we take a peek into the corner of Rick Ortega. Ricky off to a good start here on our scorecard. It's been Rick Ortega making the fight, pushing things, pushing forward, scoring, letting his hands go. Richard Fowler in just a little bit more of a defensive posture, trying to work behind the jab and kind of sticking those jabs out there, but really not doing anything, certainly not hurting Ortega. And this is kind of settled into the boxing match that we were expecting. Not sure how Rick Ortega would handle the experience of Richard Fowler, but so far so good. Round 4 underway. and Cisneros at ringside. You're watching the 8-Count Boxing Hour. Thanks for tuning in. Albuquerque lightweights, Ricky Ortega and Richard Fowler going to war here. And it's been Ortega having his way so far. But you can see Fowler stepping in with, and now Fowler follows that right jab with the left hand. The southpaw, Richard Fowler. And now you see Fowler pressing forward. There's a left hand from Richard Fowler. Ortega, oh, you can see Ortega stepping back and looking to unload that right hand. So Richard Fowler and Rick Ortega involved in a good one here. Fowler trying to get inside with that jab. You can see that he just keeps sticking that jab out there. And now Ortega lands, and there's two right hands back to back, head and body, and that kind of wakes up Richard Fowler. Fowler trying to step back and set up. Pretty much only working with the jab. Not a whole lot of power punching coming from Richard Fowler. But Rick Ortega, when he gets the opening, has been unleashing the power. And now you see Ortega with both hands working, looking at some powerful shots. Ortega looking pretty confident here, and there he rips to the body. Again, dipping down and ripping to the body comes more body shots, really going to work on the body of Richard Fowler. And Fowler tries to stop things with a left hand to the head, and that kind of backs Ortega off a little bit. But Rick Ortega going to work on the body of Richard Fowler. We're just about at the end of this round. And now you see the two exchanging right at the bell. Oh, there's a left hand from Ortega. Knocked the mouthpiece out of Richard Fowler. Wow. Another big ending to the round for Rick Ortega. So Rick Ortega ending the 4th round big. Could be another one in the bank for him. Into the corner of Ricky Ortega. Oriol Chavez working on the legs of Ortega. So far, Rick Ortega looks to be pretty much in command of this one. Fowler just trying to keep working and hoping that something comes up here where he can land something big and change things, because he's, at least on our scorecard, he's behind. And there you see Rick Ortega opening up again. The 5th round, we're scheduled for 6. Rick Ortega in the teal trunks, Richard Fowler in the yellow trunks. And now you see Fowler moving forward, but he's running into shots from Ortega. And Ortega a little bit looser with his arms now. It looks like Ortega feels he's not threatened by the power of Fowler. Of course, Richard Fowler, not a big knockout puncher, more of the boxer, volume puncher. And there you see Rick Ortega digging with some body shots. Fowler tries an uppercut, just comes up a little short. Comes back with the right hand, and Rick Ortega steps away and resets. Again, it would appear to me that Rick Ortega is pretty much having things his way. There you see him going to work again. A lot of success ripping body shots to Richard Fowler. Fowler not real elusive. He continues to just march forward, walking down Ortega, but he's walking into the fire. Again, you see Ortega letting his hands go and doing the scoring. Oh, and there's a big right hand from Ortega. He's had Fowler hurt a few times in this one. Again, you see Ortega letting both hands go, and Fowler fires back with one uppercut. It's Ortega doing all of the combination punching. Fowler pretty much just one-shotting and two-shotting. But Fowler continues to move forward. And right there's where you would think Fowler would open up, but it's Ortega landing the heavy stuff. And look at him work to the body with those left hands. Nice exhibition here from Albuquerque's Rick Ortega. Again, Ortega working. There he goes to the body. 1, 2, 3. Comes back to the head. Fowler with the one uppercut. That ends round 5. So 5 in the book. 1 to go. Richard Fowler and Rick Ortega. Jake Valencia and Jim Johnson working in the corner of Richard Fowler, trying to come up with something to pull this one out. And Rick Ortega seemingly in control of this one. He would like a knockout, but I'm sure he'll take the win if it comes by decision. So here we go with the 6th and final round here. You're watching the 8-count boxing hour on public access television in Albuquerque and our other stations around the country. Thanks for joining us. This boxing coming to you from the Lujan building in Albuquerque. Dan Cisneros at ringside, enjoying the fights and enjoying the boxing here. This hasn't been a real brawl, but it has been a technical boxing match, so the technical boxing fans probably enjoying this one a little bit more. Richard Fowler, the southpaw in the yellow trunks, trying to get that right jab in. And Rick Ortega has been more successful, though, by just being busy. He's just been busy working to the body, coming up downstairs and up. And outscoring Richard Fowler. Oh, there's a right hand from Ortega. Got to give Fowler credit. He's been in there. He's not running, he's taking some shots, and he's still moving forward, trying to score, trying to win this one. There you see Ortega trying that combination. It's been working for him, digging down to the body. And now Fowler slips in a right hand, but Ortega answers with a series of body shots. Rick Ortega, the man up on his toes, moving around. Oh, left hand from Fowler slipped in there, but Ortega answers back. Every time Fowler lands one, Ortega answers with 2 or 3. Again, you see Ricky Ortega now backpedaling, but working with that jab, shooting that jab out, keeping Fowler off balance. There's a combination from Ortega. Again, Ortega with both hands working. Oh, and there's a little left hand sneaks in there from Fowler, but Ortega goes right back to work. Richard Fowler, a soft-spoken gentleman himself. Both of these guys, really good guys. You see them around the gyms, and they're just as friendly as they can be. You got to root for both of them, but it looks like Rick Ortega has this one in full control, unless Fowler can just find something big right at the end here. We're in the 6th and final round. Fowler moving in, but just unable to land anything really meaningful. Certainly not hurting Ortega. There's Ortega with those right hands, follows it with the left, and you can see Rick Ortega, by just staying busy, controlling this one. The old veteran, Richard Fowler, just couldn't get untracked offensively here as we wind down the 6th round. And that'll do it. So this one's in the books, 6 rounds. We've got Rick Ortega winning this one. We'll see what the judges come up with. Not a real barn burner, but Rick Ortega with a nice display of offensive boxing. And Richard Fowler, the journeyman, just showing his experience, able to get in there and stay out of trouble and keep working. Survived that barrage in the 2nd round. He got hurt a few times along the way, but he stood up to it. He's got to be proud of his performance. The advanced stage, the old journeyman, doing what he could, but it was Rick Ortega just too much for him tonight on our scorecard. That's unofficial, and we'll go up to Mike Adams to find out who won this one.
Now we go to the scorecard. Judge Weiser scored about 60 to 54. Judge Bagshaw scored about 60 to 56. And Judge Dan Cisneros scored about 60 to 54. For the winner from Albuquerque, New Mexico, the deal scored Ricky Ortega! Give it up to Ricky Fowler. I'm an old man now. You heard it right here. Richard Fowler is now retired.